All right. So this is going to be an audit of a plastic surgeon based out of Dallas. What we're going to do is we're going to look over the website, see what do they currently have going on internally? What are they linking to? Do they have proper silos? Do they have proper anchor text going to their money pages or their service pages that they want ranking in Google when people go to type rhinoplasticity near me? What do they have going on their Google business profile? Are we properly optimized? Is everything filled out? Do we have services listed? Do we have descriptions on our services? Are all of our attributes set? Do we have the free parking set? Are we hitting yes and no on all of those questions that Google asks of us? Are we linking to all of our social media profiles? Then what is going on externally? Looking at all of their social media profiles, do they have all of them? What do they have? How are they linking back to their site from those social media profiles, from those social posts? And how does that all look? So first thing I want to look at is their Google business profile. So on this plastic surgeon's Google business profile, if we're going to grab the listing details right here, this is a Chrome extension called Pleper, P-L-E-P-E-R. It's a great Chrome extension. I highly recommend it. I'm going to refresh this real quick, just make sure this is up to date. So on this plastic surgeon's Google business profile, they're doing a lot of things great. These are things that you want to be doing on your Google business profile as well. So first thing that we can see on this plastic surgeon's profile is that they've got their address verified. So you never want to be a serviced area based profile. When you're a serviced area based profile, what happens is that when people are searching for your keywords for your terms in search, right? So they're searching for plastic surgeon near me. What happens when you're not verified address or that show address to customers, when you set up your Google business profile, you rank lower on average. What does that mean? That means you're going to be in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 12th, the 20th position. So whenever you search, you'll notice how there's that 3-pack. This is where you want to be. There's a study done on the amount of clicks and calls that go to these positions. The first position gets 34%. The second position gets 26%. Do you see how much is already going to these first two positions? This is where we want to be, because anything else after that is then split amongst everything else below it, right? So you get to the 4th and below, and all of a sudden you're splitting hairs. You're splitting that 2% of clicks or calls, and then you get even further below and you just get less and less, right? So make sure your Google business profile is verified address or show address to customers. Next, we want to get keywords in the Google business profile name. So they're doing something great here. They've got facial plastics. So they've got a keyword in the Google business profile name. If yours don't, what you can do is you can file a do business as with your state, $40 to $60. You go and file that with your state, and then now you can name your Google business profile something different, right? Because we have that proper documentation, that corporation documentation that we can show Google, hey, this is the actual name of our business. Get that keyword in there. We've got a verified address. Next, our primary category. So when you go to set up your Google business profile, the third most important thing you want to do is that primary category is best matching, best describing your business, your keywords that you're wanting to target. We want to make sure that we're not setting it to something that we're not actually doing. So often what I'll see with roofers is that they'll have general contractors. You're not a general contractor. You're a roofing contractor. So that's what I mean. We need to have that primary category that accurately matches or is most congruent with our company, with the services that we actually provide. So then next on their profile, what I'm seeing is that they haven't set their appointment link. So what does that mean? So when you set up your profile, what you can do is you can set an appointment link. Now, you don't have to have a appointment setting software as a plastic surgeon. What you can do is we can point this to your contact us page, or we can point this to your home page. Either or Or if you do have an appointment setting software, you can link it to that as well. Either way, we still want to have a link going out to it. Next, you want to make sure on your plastic surgeon's Google Business Profile, you're using all 750 characters that Google allows you to place on your profile. You want to talk about your business, what you do, who you serve, and your services, right? Next, you want to link to your social media profiles. So this plastic surgeon is currently only linking to their Facebook and their Instagram on their Google Business Profile. Now, if this is all the social profiles they had, this would be great. The only thing I would say is that they need to go get the other they need to go get the other 5 social profiles for their Google Business Profile. Even if they don't plan on posting on those social platforms, you still want to create them. Now, they actually have a YouTube and a TikTok and a Twitter account that they could be linking to, and they're not. So you've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Those are the 7 you want to be linking to. So now we're going to go and look at their posts on their Google Business Profile. So what this plastic surgeon is doing on their profile right now is great. They're talking about their specific service that they offer, right? So right here, they're talking about facelifts. They've got the keyword on this post, and they're talking about this post. Then they've got an image. This looks like someone that just got a facelift, right? Not only that, for their learn more, they have a link that is very specific, and it's going back to their facelift page. So when you go to post on your Google Business Profile, you want to then link back to the service you're talking about, right? Not only that, you also want to have a consistent cadence in which you post on your Google Business Profile. Ideally, you want to do about 2 a week. They've actually got a broken link here, but we're going to skip that for now. Okay, so let's go look at this plastic surgeon's TikTok account. So they're posting on TikTok, which is great. Let's go see. They don't have a link going out. So whenever you go to post on social, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whatever social platform of you're choosing, you want to make sure that you also are including a link that goes back to your site. Google just rolled out something in this Google Search Console to where you can start seeing the traffic your social media posts are getting and the links and the clicks that they're getting as well, right? Not only that, on your TikTok account, you want to have a link in your bio. And in your bio, you want to talk about the company. So you want to have a consistent name of the company. You want to have a consistent address. And then you also want to have a consistent phone number across all of your social platforms. Then you also want to have a consistent link or a website URL going back as well. So I'm going to look at some of their other posts to see. Yeah, so ideally, anytime you post, you want to make sure that we have a link going back to your site. Anytime you launch a new blog, anytime you launch a new service or a locations page, having links back to those pages can help not only get those pages indexed so we can get them ranking and getting traffic, but it can also keep them indexed longer. So let's go to their Facebook. So their Facebook, they've got a link going back to their site. This is great. So let's look at the phone number. Does the phone number match? Phone number matches. That's consistent. That's great. That's what we want to see. Again, looking at their posts. So looks like he's got an automation for Birdeye to post on his Facebook account. He's got another post, but again, we want links going back to our site each and every time that we're posting on socials. Another post without a link. So I would go back and include links on those. Let's go to their YouTube. So on the YouTube, we have links to their other social profiles, which is great. This is exactly what you want to do. YouTube is another Google asset or Google platform. Ideally, you'd also want to, nope, they got a link to their website as well, which is great. So let's go look at their YouTube posts. Are we including links back to our site down here? So again, no links. I'm not going to scroll too far down. We're probably going to see some stuff we don't want to See? Yeah, so again, I would go and get links going back from those social platforms back to your site. Let's look at the Twitter account. Again, looks like you have some Birdeye automation that's posting these reviews that you're getting. But again, we ideally want these to be more custom or a little bit more effort put behind these. And then also including a link going back to your site as well. Let's look at the Instagram. Instagram's got the address, which is great. We've got the same exact phone number. So anytime you have anything referencing your business, it needs to have a consistent name, it needs to have a consistent address, and it needs to have the exact same phone number and a link going back to the site. We never want to have inconsistent phone numbers because then Google's, okay, what's your actual phone number? And we also never want to have inconsistent addresses. We always want everything externally and internally talking about the same name, address, and phone number of our company, of our site, of our Google Business Profile. So they've got a link going back. Let's go see. So again, it's good that we have the same phone number, but anytime we're posting on socials, we want to have links going back to our site. So that's it for them externally. Is there anything else? Let's look at their reviews. Are they responding? 6 days ago, they're responding. This is great. So as a plastic surgeon, you always, oh, there's one. Oh, no, never mind. You always want to be responding within 24 to 48 hours. And it looks like they are staying on top of it, which is great. So let's close that. Let's close that. There's that. The other thing, I'm just confirming this with my other tool. So this plastic surgeon, I'm honestly a little astonished that this plastic surgeon doesn't have any services listed on their Google Business Profile, especially since they're working with an SEO company. Either way, yeah, you want services on your Google Business Profile. As you list the services, make sure we're using the services like keywords, how people search for it. Then we also want keyword variations of that service. And then after we list them on the Google Business Profile, we want to go back behind and we want to add a 2 to 3 cents description. So as we add those 10 to 15 services, then we want to go back behind them and add a 2 to 3 cents description for each. So now we're going to go to the website audit. So what's currently happening on this plastic surgeon's website is that their blog, the CMS that they're using, the website builder, the platform that they're using is creating these blog categories, right? So why this is important is because what's happening is that as they go to create very specific blog content, right? We can see here we got face lift and we got neck lift. So we've got 2 categories. And what this does is it creates a new URL. So right now this is creating /blog/. So that's not an issue, right? What's an issue is that we're now creating 4 new URLs when we don't need to be creating these. What this does is it creates instances in which we get URL bloat, because every time they go and add another category, they get a brand new URL. Ideally, you want as few URLs, or what you really want is each URL to have a very specific reason. These currently, in my opinion, do not serve any purpose. So what this does is that as this grows and grows, this creates more URLs. This hurts with getting a full crawl depth. What is a full crawl depth? So each time Google comes by, we want it to crawl everything, right? We wanted to see the new on-page optimization edit we made to our service or our money page. We wanted to find all of our new URLs if we did make it any. But what's happening right now is because we have an additional URL or a whole bunch of additional URLs that really don't serve a purpose or do anything, Google then sends or wastes the crawl budget on these pages, instead of crawling our money pages or our new URLs or our new pages that we created. Not only that, as you bloat your URLs, the total amount of pages or the total amount of URLs on your site, you're going to get worse and worse indexing rate, or a worse percentage rate of all your pages indexed, right? So we go from a 15 page or maybe a 30 page website to we go to 100 or a couple hundred URLs. Less and less of those pages are going to be indexed because more and more of them don't really serve a purpose. They don't actually do anything, right? And we can see here is they've got a filter URL. So if I order by newest or oldest, we can see right here in the URL, it goes /blog / sort equals oldest. So again, we now have a that doesn't actually do anything. It's just creating more and more pages for Google to go and crawl. Sorry, this says it was written December 31st, 1969. I don't believe that. Either way. And then here, so not only does it create a new URL if we go to oldest, but it also creates a new URL if we go to newest as well. So I'm curious actually, if we go to facelift and I go to oldest, so here we go. So this is another example. So we've got /blog /category /facelift /question. Then I can click newest and I've got another URL. So this one category creates 3 URLs. We've got the category and we've got, because they have this order by newest and oldest, we've got newest and oldest. So then if we go to neck lift, let's see what it's not even filtering the categories. And then I go to newest and I go to oldest. So now I've got 6 URLs that aren't doing anything. So then we go to liposuction and then I go to newest and then I go to oldest. So now we've got 9 URLs. Now I go to rhinoplasty. So then I go to newest and I go to oldest. So now I've got 12 brand new URLs. Actually, I've got 14 because when I go to the normal blog page, I get newest and oldest. So I got 14 URLs that are not doing anything. They are just hurting my indexing and they're just wasting my crawl budget on pages that should not exist. You only have 6 blogs, but you've got more of these faceted navigation buttons that are creating more pages than actual blog pages. Okay, so now let's go to your gallery. So this is fine, but this is a lot. View patient details. I'm gonna go drag this off to the side in case this isn't. Yeah, so these are great for what they're trying to do. The only thing that's happening is that because they're doing it in this fashion, because they're creating a new URL for each of these, it's the same thing as before. You're bloating up the amount of URLs that your website has. Instead, you should have this behind like a login or somewhere else, or just not creating brand new URLs each time. Do they have filters on it? So if I go to gallery, oh, okay. So each of their services that they've done, they create a new gallery for. Yeah, so again, you're just creating more pages than you need to. So what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You got 13 new URLs, and then you've got a whole bunch of new pages. Yeah, that's not helping. So then also your home page has no H1. That's not true, it does. Okay, so this URL just doesn't work. Yeah, so they've got a little bit to clean up. They've got a little bit going on with not linking their social profiles. They've also got a whole bunch of URL bloat that they need to figure out. Let's go look at their, how smart. So majority of this page is JavaScript. If you guys got any questions, make sure to drop them in chat. If you got a website or a Google Business Profile you want me to look at over live, drop it in chat. So this plastic surgeon is pulling in their Google Business Profile review data with JavaScript. So what's happening is that a majority of the time when Google comes by without rendering enabled, it's not seeing this review content. And also what they should be doing is pulling in the photos that are also going with the Google Business Profile reviews. Because as a plastic surgeon, your clients, your customers are going to want to see what it looks like before and after the surgery, right? You're going to want to include visual representations or testimonials of others in what occurred. If they're already writing a 5-star review, we would also want to include their before and after transformation, right? Not only that, what we can do is by pulling in the review content from people that have previously purchased, what we can do is this is where we can get a lot of our SEO on the page. What does that mean? So instead of creating this super long horizontal page where it takes 10, 20, 30 scrolls from top to bottom, what we can do is very similar to how they're doing it right now in this accordion or this carousel, right? So it's a section on the screen that scrolls vertically. What we can do is we can go from the 5 or 8 reviews that you're currently displaying and we can go to 35. We can have 35 reviews on the page with all of their review content. And when people naturally speak about the service, they're naturally going to include the keywords, the entities, the LSI terms, and the keyword variations. So then we can get a lot of our SEO on the page through using the review content and having it scroll horizontally instead of vertically in that specific carousel section. So we go from having a 20 scroll page website to now all of a sudden it takes maybe 5 scrolls. Our FAQs are accordions, which are default closed. Now, if they were to go to open them, then obviously the page would go, you would have to scroll a lot further to go up horizontally, right? But now instead what we do is we have the accordions default closed for all of our FAQ questions where we get more of our SEO on page. And then in our review content, we start bolding keywords, some LSI terms, some entities as well, right? Getting more of those SEO ranking factors, getting more of our SEO on the page without removing the customer's journey or their experience, right? These are just other ways that we can rank the page without hindering the customer's experience. And then also, when we go to pull that review content, if we're also pulling in the images that they left behind, we then can go behind those, add verbose alt text, which is just a HTML tag on those. And then we can start getting 2 to 3 even more sentences on the page, getting more of those entities, more of those keywords, keyword variations, and LSI terms, right? Yeah. So that's about everything I see for this plastic surgeon out of Dallas. Oh, they got videos. Do they have image or not? Do they have video schema on this? They should definitely have a video schema on this. Let's go look. Structured data. Doesn't look like it. Let's go Control F video. No video schema, huh? Yeah, so you could get really crazy with the video schema on here as well. And then behind that, you can then add transcript schema. And so you can get like an additional 2 to 3 pages of content on this page without it actually like being displayed to your users or your customers when they come to visit this page. But when all of the AIs, the LLMs, the Google crawlers, the crawler bots, what have you, come by and they look at this page, they'll get all of that schema and all of the code, right? Which can help us rank.